Okay. This is going to be a gold backtesting session based on 30-minute support and resistance retest. So the idea is to look for the 30-minute trend. So if price is in an uptrend, I'm going to look for a pullback to the most recent support and get into buys there rather than waiting for the candles to close, form a support, and then take the buys. So it's literally, I might use limit orders depending. So I can just set up the trade and see how it plays out. And then for sells, I'm going to be looking at if the 30 minutes on a downtrend and getting into sells at the most recent high, so resistance. I'm going to still look at London and New York session. I'm going to use the daily and 4-hour levels just to look at the overall trend, but the markups are going to be just based really on the 30-minute time frame. Then I'm going to note all my findings and see how well those trades actually play out over the course of the next month. So I'm going to have a daily, like I said, 4-hour for structure, 30-minute. I'm not going to use the 1 hour because it's going to be based on the 30-minute support and resistances, and the 15. I'm just going to use this to help move the time along. So 4-hour, 30-minute. I don't even need to open a 15-minute chart. So I'm going to have that and 30-minute scale fix. I need to move that chart. Perfect. All right, so daily. Oh, let's move. So stop loss is going to be 0.05. And let's get to London session. Next bar. This shows when the sessions open. So typically London opens at 8 o'clock. And I believe this is 7 o'clock really. And that's because, look, it says here the market's closed from 9 to 10. But markets usually close from 10 to 11 every day. So I believe this is an hour off. So we're going to start from pre-London open, which is 6 o'clock, and 4-hour. So daily, looking at the daily trend, right now the daily is definitely ranging sideways, but we do have lower highs, but we have higher lows. So we're inside a massive range on the daily for gold. 4-hour. 4-hour is currently bearish, but it's closed. Well, we're right on a 4-hour support hit. So that's interesting. Could continue down, but the current 30-minute structure is definitely bearish right now. So I'm going to put the most recent resistance, which is probably about here. Yeah, that's the most recent resistance. No, I can't leave it like that. All right. If yeah, right here, most recent resistance and the most recent support. And yep, right. So I'm gonna leave it just like that. So I'm gonna use just the most recent levels. Now, if I started a little bit earlier, price on a downtrend, so I wouldn't have taken a buy right here. I wouldn't have taken a buy right there. Now, if price pushes up, as you can see, we've got a downtrend on the 30-minute. So we've got high, lower high, lower high, lower highs, lower highs, plus lower low, etc. But price here, we have actually made a lower low. So we could push up and create a lower high anywhere below this level. But what I'm looking for is for price to retest this resistance and then take the sells down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the limit order. Wait, I need to use visual mode trades. Delete that. Okay, so limit order. Perfect. So a limit order is basically when you are looking to take a sell from a higher price than where price is now. And I'm going to put my TP at this most recent support, not this one below because price closed here. So I'm going to put my TP there. All right. And stop loss. What's the... Yeah, I'm going to put my stop loss just above Yeah, I'm gonna put my stop loss up here just to be on the safe side. So just over 1-to-1 risk reward to risk, 0.1 risk to reward. Yeah, perfect. That's cool. And if I do get into a trade, then I'll reduce my risk anyway. But I'm gonna have that order there, and that's what I'm gonna keep doing throughout this session. I'm gonna look at the trend, and I'm gonna put entries at the most recent 30-minute key levels. All right, so let's play. Let's see how this plays out now. Let's see how this plays out. Typically, my strategy would be support formed, continue up. Look, daily's bearish, 4 hours bearish, 30-minute. Looks like a continuation pattern actually to continue down, doesn't it? Does actually look like a continuation pattern, but if we don't fill this wick, we break this high, we've got a nice rejection of this support to push up. Now, if I'm going to get into this trade, if I get into this trade here and price closes above, then I'll close the trade completely because the trade will be invalid. And that's what will make me get out of that trade, get out of those trades early. Closure aboves for the sells anyway. Speed things up a little bit. These would have been some nice buys though. Look, respect to the previous low. How big is the stop loss? Like 40 pips. Take it all the way up. 57 pips. Missed out right here. Actually missed out. But with my backtesting sessions, I'm just going to focus on very specific concepts and then mark those findings down. Oh, let's slow it down because we're approaching. All right, this candle's about to close. I like where this candle's closed because if the if we get a push down from here, then we're respecting this downtrend structure. Basically, we're respecting this downtrend structure, which is good. And then we're going to get another lower high to continue back down and then potentially create a lower low below this current one. What I don't like is we actually need a top wick for this candle here, and we haven't made a top wick yet. So we could break this high. And if we do break the high and close above, then I'll just close the trade at a loss, which is fine. If this candle closes bearish, make the top wick and closes bearish, then and it doesn't tap in, then I'll be looking at taking sells on the next candle. And it'll be a sell from resistance, right? And a lower high. Mm. Okay, we've made a top wick. That's a good thing at least. Speed it up a little bit. Oh shoot, been tapped in. Pushing up. Ooh. Like to see the P&L in pips. All right, this is good. So we're just making a top wick. We did retest this resistance, which is good. Once this candle closes, depending on how it closes, if it's just making a bottom wick and then it flips back up, closes above, like I said, I'm going to close. If it closes bearish, then I'm going to reduce this stop loss. I'm going to reduce the stop loss. I'm not really bothered about holding trades to TP as well. I'm going to get out where it makes sense. So I'm going to look at the structure ending, if price makes like a higher low above here, if we don't quite reach it and, we break the structure, we'll change the structure now, look at managing the trade. but I'll wait for the candles to close before I do that. All right, this candle's closing in 5 minutes. How's it closing? All right, closed bearish, which is perfect, and created a lower high. So I'm just gonna modify my stop loss and move it above that candle high. So now the stop loss is 11, well, let's call it 12 pips. Let's call it 12 pips. And stop, take profit is down here. So it's a nice risk reward now. Reduced it. Wow, while this trade is playing out, I'm going to enter it into the tracker. So it's the 1st of the 7th, 24. Gold. The daily. So let me just pause it quickly. The daily's bullish. And the 4-hour is also bullish. And it was a retest. Stop loss is currently 12 pips. And the take profit is 63. And then I'll put in, depends on where I close. Let's keep this thing running. So this is good. I mean, typically my entry, if I was looking at my normal strategies, trading the trend, like a trend continuation, I'd probably be in some sells right here. Ridiculous low because we tested the resistance, created the resistance, and then we're continuing down to the bottom of the range. So I probably would be in some sell. But I want to look at retest entries because I've seen it happen a lot recently. And it's just a good way of getting in just a little bit earlier than waiting for these candles to close. It's a nice push down. So what, 30, 40 pips, 30 pips up so far. It's not bad. Not bad at all. So I'm going to start managing the trade here because we're a decent amount of profits. But because the lot size is so small, there's nowhere to... I'm not going to close partials. I'm not going to close 80% at 0.05 or 75%. I'm going to close full positions where it makes sense. Now, if we break this high, I'll probably get out the trade. Probably going to break this low. It's a nice top wick there. Looking at the pips. All right, this candle's about to close. Going to close bearish. Yep. So about 40 pips. All right, nearly at 50 pips. I might close at 50 pips. Or just under 50 pips. Yeah, I'm going to close here because I like the look of this. I like the look of this. And right now, what I'm thinking is, we've got support here. We've respected the support. And then we've made a higher low compared to over here. And we're approaching this previous support too. Even though it's been broken, it's still a level here. So I'm just gonna close this. So we've got 2.54% on this trade. 2.54 and closed it at, where did I close it at? It was at 50.7 pips, wasn't it? 0.7. All right. So let's see how it continues to play out. But that one's marked down as a win. So I'm still figuring out how I'm going to get out of these trades. Look, push down a little bit more. But I don't want to be too greedy. I want to take off where it makes sense. I'm thinking overall structure is still ranging. The daily was bullish, the 4 hours bullish. Got a nice retest. So I'm looking at, a third retest, one, two, a fourth retest even. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. In fact, I might go to, that's the London session trade. I'm gonna go to pre-NY. That's a good place to get out. So didn't get the closure above, but this time here, it would be 10:30. There's somewhere I don't take trades. Got a new 4 hour candle, 4 hour candles pushing up, 4 hours still ranging. I'm gonna go to pre-NY session now, which would be, okay, it's like 12 o'clock. All right, so let's adjust. We've got a resistance here, and this is still the best support, really, because it's had the most retests. All right, so we don't want to go across. I want to zoom out. All right, so looking at the structure of gold currently, go across. Currently, the structure of gold is not very clean. Do have a breakout, which is my bread and butter usually, but we have this resistance here. So what I'm thinking, no, the structure is not clean enough. The structure is not clean. I would get in if price comes back down and retests maybe, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, got the most recent support right here. I'm not being very decisive at this moment because we still have this high and we haven't broken this high. But I'm thinking if we're going to continue the downtrend, we could respect this resistance and sell back down. But currently, price is in an uptrend. We've got support, got lows, higher low, higher low, and we've broken above this resistance and this resistance. So we're breaking the previous lower highs. So it's kind of conflicting. I'm going to see how this plays out and then make a decision as the candles are moving. But I'm going to put this support here because it's the most recent one. That's what I said I'd do. So if price comes down, retests this support, I'm going to look to get into buyers up. I'm also thinking maybe to take some support, some sells at this resistance. But this structure is not as clear as it was this morning. Okay, so we tap that resistance. Broke the high, just like it did earlier. Got these wick rejections to the left. I don't know, I'm just not sold because it's because of this uptrend structure here. That's what's making me not want to get into the sells. Before we closed below, the recent lower highs, so the sells made more sense for the retest. But the structure is not very clean here. I think I'm gonna have to wait for gold to create a new range. So you've got support. Down here, we've got a resistance now. Oh, let me check if there was any news. Look at that. Manufacturing PMI later at 2 o'clock. I just want high impact news only for USD just to avoid it. So now only concerned with the news during NY session, of course. There's a lot of news this week. Look, JOLTS, ADP, NFP. Oof. So it didn't quite respect this resistance, but we closed back below. This would have been a nice fake out. Like a news at 2 o'clock. I'm still looking at a retest of this support right here, you know, to continue the uptrend. All right, I'm actually gonna take a buy right here. Is that crazy? No, I'm gonna do it. No, I'm gonna wait for this candle to close. I'm gonna wait for this candle to close because it's like 5 minutes. If it closes above, oh, it closed right on it. Do you know what? I'm gonna take it. Buy, and TP is gonna be back at these highs here, and stop loss below this low. Stop loss below that low. This is support. It's a support retest. Let's see what happens. This is a very risky move. Now, if this candle closes below, then I'm just going to close the trade completely. Oh, it was looking good for a second. It was looking good for a second. Only thing I have to be cautious of is remember there's news at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock here, which is really 3 o'clock. Now, if it closes below, like I said, I'm going to have to get out of this trade. Oh my God. It didn't close below. Oh, wow. Got a continuation pattern. I'm kind of thinking if this current candle breaks this low, then I'm just going to close the trade. Jeez. I'm going to modify this. Just reduce that risk. In fact, while it's paused, let me 1724. I'm just going to put this in the tracker. So the daily, I don't want to see history on chart. Daily is bullish. 4 hour is bearish. And it's another retest. Well, they're all going to be retests, aren't they? Stop loss is now 22 pips. And the take profit is 111. I'm going to play. So we broke that previous high, which is a good look. Oh man, is it going all the way out? I don't want to be greedy. I want to get out before this news as well. That's another thing. I do want to get out before this news. So I'm going to see. Do you know what? Oh, it got to 50 pips. I'm trying to stop it. I'm close. I'm closing here. I'm closing here because this is very lucky right now. So close trades. Okay, 51. Let's call it 52 pips. And the percentage, we're now on 5.13%. That was a very crazy trade, not gonna lie. All right, let's continue. That's because the structure changed to an uptrend when we started making these higher lows. Obviously, we needed a pullback. We need some structure. Ooh, is that news? Yeah. Look how that dropped. Oh my God. That was a weird move. But I think I'm done for NY anyway. Jeez. Do you know what? Let's go to London session now because I wouldn't take any more trades. I wouldn't take 2 trades during NY session. That was very risky. I'm not sure how I feel about these trades. Not, it's like the anticipation is weird. All right. So starting back from the daily, we're still within this range right here. Still ranging. Daily closed bullish yesterday. We haven't broken yesterday's low, obviously during NY. If gold's gonna break 23.39, we could continue up. 4 hours currently bullish. And we respected that support that I was looking at yesterday, 23.21. And we've got a resistance at 23.37. So back to the 30-minute now, creating structure. So we've got the most recent support here, the most recent resistance here. All right, so I'm looking for a retest now of 23.25 for gold to continue up because we are in the 30-minute currently looks like it's in an uptrend because we've got the low, higher low, higher low, but then we also have this high and lower high. It's going to be very tricky. I'm not going to put any sell limits in just yet, but if we get a retest, I need to see a double retest of a key level. So if we push down retest 23.26, I'm going to get into some buys. Came down, didn't quite retest. We're in the middle of the range, so I wouldn't take a trade in the middle of this range. Well, this is good. We coming down. Oh, damn, can I even get in here? Might have to. That was quite a push down, so couldn't even get a retest there. Maybe 23.23. Do you know what? I like this level a little bit more. This is very I don't this idea is very tricky. All right, so 30-minute. Maybe wait for a deeper. Sorry, I can't make up my mind where I want to get in. I might actually have to wait for this candle to close. So we've tapped it on the 30-minute. You know what? I'm going to get in right here. I'm going to get in here because it was just before the candle, right after the candle closed. And I'm going to have, oh, that's TP. TP, first TP right there, resistance. And TP's 57 pips. It's going to be a 1-to-1. I'm going to put it below this next support. I'm going to put this TP at the highest. And then reduce it when the next candle closes. All right, so I want to explain why I didn't get in right off this retest. It was the volume, the amount of the push down from this candle was very strong that I needed to wait and see how this candle closed before I got in. Now, if we break this low, we could go further down. And if price closes below this support, then I'm just going to close the trade. Now, hopefully it doesn't drive all the way down. Managing risk at this point. Trades, where we at? 36 pips. I'm going to wait for this candle to close. If this candle closes bullish, I'm going to reduce my stop loss and look at closing some, not even closing some, maybe closing, no, back at 50 pips. This is insane. This might have to be my new strategy for real. Oh, look at that bullish closure. This is so nice. All right, I'm going to move my stop loss to break even. This could come right back down, but stops at break even. I wonder if it's going to go all the way. It's going to push up. No, I'm going to close when if it gets back to 50 pips. Oh, no. Oh, I should have closed it. I was being greedy. Do you know what? I'm going to close it here. I know it's in profit, but I'm closing. I'm closing. All right, so we're at 8% now. 8.46%. And to put this in the tracker, I'm going to put some notes as to why I've taken entries where I took entries, just because I don't have a picture of the charts to do so. So the daily was bearish at the time, because obviously the daily's bearish now. 4 hour bullish, the previous 4 hours bullish. And that was another retest. So the initial stop loss was about 56 pips, wasn't it? 56, 57, or 50 and change. And the take profit was, where did I get in? I got in around, I can have a look on a, oh, history on chart. Got in here, take profit was 93 pips. And closed at, where did I get to close it? 66 pips. Now we're at 8.46%. All right, so the reason I got into that trade and I used, so we had a massive volume, big bearish candle, lots of volume. So this to me would have been the strongest current support, not this one because it is only once, but when there's a support below, so it's either going to be here or this one down here. If price continued down, then I'll be looking at getting to the buys here because this is a stronger level. So we've had 2 taps here, we've had 4 taps, well, 5 if we count this candle here below. So entry at strongest, at first strongest support. Cool. So I've got notes like that compared to the other ones too. But I mean, you're seeing my thinking in real time. Exit reason. Close at good profits really. All right, so let's go to NY session now because I'm not gonna get into anything else. Sessions, pre-NYs right here. Wow. I'm never This lucky backtesting. This literally seems like luck. But I don't want to be greedy. That's why I'm closing these trades because I don't want to hold all the way to TP. I'm not about that. I want to close somewhere where I'm just happy with the profits and can start again, just lock in. So 50, 60 pips is decent. All right, so we're back at this support again, but now we've made a lower high. Let's take the history off. So daily's bearish, 4 hours bearish, 30-minute structure. All right, I'm going to take. All right, if I'm looking at the 30-minute objectively, we've got a high, a lower high, and we've pushed down into the support again. But we've got a low and a lower low too that we're respecting. I don't know if I'm undecided if I'm taking buys or sells. New York session seems to be quite tricky. This range is horrible. Not session. Let's see if we got any news. So we've got jolts and jolts today. Right, I'm gonna play. Well, we've had another 2 retests off this level. So what's the probability we retest and then push up again? Because we are respecting this support. I do like the buys up, you know. I'm gonna pull the trigger. How big would the stop loss be? 28 pips. No, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it because we're making lower lows and lower highs. Right, I'm gonna look at the next candles. Oh, respected it again. Oof, drop below. So once the level's been broken, I'm gonna remove it. If we respect 23.19, 23.20, I'm gonna take the buys back up on the next candle, you know. This is a very strong support. I like this. So this backtesting session is definitely going to help me pick the supports to buy from, or any key level really. It's 30-minute candle's about to close. I would love if it taps it and closes above before this candle closes. Go on, tap it. If it closes above, I'm getting into buys on the next candle straight away. So I think my strategy here, the way I'll use it is I'll always start with a big stop loss and then reduce it if the trade is in my favor. Okay, we've tapped this support. Lovely. Oh, come on. Can't wait to see how this candle closes now. Oh, perfect. Oh my God. Let's go. All right. Buys, TP. It's ambitious, always. Okay, 100 pips, $50. And I'm going to move my stop loss to below this last support here. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Again, if price closes below, then I'm going to look at just closing the trade. Hopefully it doesn't just drive down and stop me out beforehand. But this is a nice retest. Tapped it and closed above. I'm also aware of the fact that price has been making lower highs and lower lows. So we could get a push up and then we could also get a lower high anywhere below 23.31. Go on, break this high. All right, once this candle closes, you know the deal, moving the stop loss up. All right, let's move this stop loss. Right here, so from, where did it start off at? You can just move it. It started from 50 pips. Now we're down to 22 pips. Risk reward is looking much better now. Oh, shoot, the news. At 2. Got an hour and a half till the news. Again, I'm going to try get out before the news comes out. 22 pips, stop loss. Look, the pips. We're breaking these highs. Close at 50. Just close at 50. Just let it run a little bit more. I'll wait till this candle closes. I'm going to see how this candle closes. Nice. All right, I'm going to close here, 58 pips. Um, let's close. We're at 11.4% now. Right, the reason I'm closing here is because, again, we closed bullish. Even though we closed bullish, and I'm probably leaving money on the table, because we've been creating lower highs, we could get a lower high here as well. And then price could continue back down. So I'm just going to be very cautious. I'm happy with another 50 pips. And I'm going to see how... I want to get out before news too, which is in an hour. Again, not going to take any more trade. Oh, look at that. Left all that money on the table. It's all good. It's ooh. See, this is great. I'm glad I got out before this news. I'd have been very annoyed. Okay. Those look good. Okay. Let's put that in the tracker real quick while it's fresh. This is the 2nd of the 7th. See gold, so the daily is bearish. Now, would it have been bearish in the trade? Yes, it would have. Daily's bearish, 4-hour. 4-hour would have been bullish. Could have been the previous candle. And the entry was a retest. Stop loss came down to 22 pips. And the TP was... What was the TP again, guys? Did I get in down here? TP was 130 pips at those highs. And closed at... With our close trades. Pips 58, call it 59. I'm gonna round up a little bit. Okay, so comments on this one. So candle closed above support after retest. That's why I got into that trade. And closed when candle closed. That's my exit reason. Closing when the candle closed. Okay, cool. And before news, actually, let me add that. And before news. Cool. All right, next day. Let's get rid of these levels. Not delete all arrows, delete all selected. Let's go to tomorrow. Look at the daily, start at 6 o'clock. It's only Wednesday. Okay, I'm gonna try to speed up a little bit. All right. So they still ranging, and that's why I'm able to play support to resistance. All right, still in a range. Daily is currently bullish. 4 hour is bullish and broke the previous high. Doesn't have a bottom wick. And the 30-minute has respected this resistance. So I might have missed the entry here. But in terms of the trend, what's this trend looking like? It's most recent support, most recent resistance. I'm looking at buyers. I want to look at some buyers and that's because the daily is bullish. We broke. Did we break the previous high? I said nope, haven't broke the previous high, but it looks like we got a continuation pattern here. So I do have a bias based on the daily time frame. I would like a retest of 23.28 for the buyers, or we retested that resistance for sells. No, I want buyers. 4 hours bullish. And we also have this resistance here. Let's see what price does at that resistance too. Because we've broken this level now, so it's no longer valid. But I'm interested in some sells at this resistance if it holds. No, the structure is very bullish. All right, if I get a retest of this support, 23.33, so I'm just going to adjust the supports as we move up. I might not get some trades every day, which is fine, because you can't expect this to work all the time. I'm surprised this works so much, to be fair. I think there's been some good lessons in here, like not trying to hold trades for too long, because if you look at, I'll go back over those at the end quickly. Do a little recap. Man, this is gone. Look, this would have been a closure above, buys, bam. But to be honest, the sells would have only been short-term sells because it would have been, I think, a pullback just to continue the structure because we have an uptrend structure here. Low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. Do you know what I mean? Higher, higher. So we were pushing up. Go and create a resistance. Let me get a retest. Let me get a retest just to get in. Oh, what's to the left? Just anything? Oh, clean candles all the way. Oh, the cleanest. It's not going to give us no structure on the way up. This is a nice push. All right, I'm just going to skip. Let's see. Get a resistance. Got a support. Lovely. Continuing up, closure above. Don't have any levels. Oh, look at that. Actually, right there. So we're in NY session now. So let's adjust levels. Hmm. I think there was news this Wednesday, isn't it? ADP in 15 minutes. And then also services PMI as well at 2. This is just a week full of news, except tomorrow. All right, so I'm going to let the news play out. It's ADP candle right here, continued up, and then more news. More news later. Yeah, gold is gone. Gold is gone. So I've got the recent levels. If I can get, I'm trying to think of where I can see potential for the retest. Because price is bullish, I need a retest of support. So maybe if price pulls back to 23.43, I'd look for some buys. I think coming back down to 23.33 is a bit of a stretch. But if I get a retest of 23.43, like if we pull down maybe for news, and then let's see. Geez, no, this ain't stopping. Gold is not stopping. Wow, it's filling this whole range. So no retest here. Potentially, I think I might have missed out on this. Looking at it, I think I've missed out on this retest at 11 o'clock. I think I moved a bit too quick with the timings, but price was in an uptrend, had a pullback. It did retest this support. So maybe this candle here would have been an entry and then a pullback. So yeah, I think I missed out on that one. So next tomorrow, I'm just going to be a bit more cautious, take my time a little bit moving these candles, especially when I see structure forming. I'm going to make a note when I'm moving up and we got some structure, just wait because yeah, that probably would have been the entry here. Okay, let's go on to tomorrow morning where we have no news, so we can just not worry about NY session news at 6 o'clock. Get rid of all of this. Delete selected. Is that it? And I'm going to forget about this resistance. Going to use the current levels again. So let's start with the daily. Okay, daily is bullish, closed right below this previous daily resistance. So if gold is ranging, but it has been creating lower highs on the daily time frame. And every time it's come up, we've had these big pullbacks. So potentially we could get some gold sales from here if we're going to continue to range. If not, then, we've been pushing up anyway. We're still making higher lows too. 4 hour, 4 hour, pulled back from the highs. Now we've got a little bit of a 4 hour range as well. The current 4 hour candle broke the previous low. 30-minute structure. I've got a high, lower high, lower high, lower high. But we've got a low and then a higher low here. So I'm going to play the candles. If I get a retest of 23.54, I'm going to be looking for buyers up. Yeah, simple. If we're going to continue this uptrend or continue pushing, if it closes below, then I'm going to look for a recent resistance to get a retest to sell back down. I think that makes some sense. So this is a structure point, I would say, because it's the last higher low. How are we closing? Oh, we closed below. Oh, we're pulling back. Might be selling down. The daily didn't break that previous high, which is all good. So what did I say? Looking for a retest of a resistance. Now I need to pick the strongest resistance. I'm going to do the recent one. If it breaks, then I'm obviously going to look for the next one. Slow it down just a little bit. Now, if it closes above, is this just a fake out to continue up? How far is this from the support? 41 pips. How's this candle closing? Closing back in the range. These buys up might have been the shout. Go on, tap that resistance. Just tap it. Tap it and close below, and then I'll take in some sells. Go on, just tapped it. Tapped it. Okay. If we close below, I'm gonna get into some sells. It's the first resistance. Oh yeah, this is good. Is it? All right, I'm gonna take some sells here. All right, stop loss. I'm gonna put above this structure point here. Do you know I'm gonna put it above here? And that's what, 60 pips. So $31. And I'm gonna have my TP down here. Now, why did I get into this trade? Because we've got a high, a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. We did break this previous low. We pushed down, but we came back. We retested this resistance, which is the whole idea, looking for retest with the 30-minute trend. So looking at the structure, we've got the lower highs and then we also have the lower lows. So potentially price could create a lower high to then continue down. Where would I get out? Provisionally, I've got my stop loss up here. But if price closes above this resistance or above this resistance, then I'll just close the trade. But this is all back testing. It's testing it out. Don't have a top wick yet. Dum, dum. I'm not confident enough in this strategy. Even though we've had some decent wins, there's been some decent wins today. I'm not confident enough in this strategy to implement it in my live trading, but I wanted to backtest this idea because I see the retests happening a lot. This is decent. Let's look at trades. Where are we at? Okay, 20 pips so far. Do you know, I'm going to put this quickly in the tracker before I forget. So there was no trades on the 3rd, 4th of the 7th, 24. Oh, Independence Day. Oh shit, wait, it's Independence Day. News. Doesn't that mean it's um a holiday, a US holiday? This should be a US holiday, 4th of July. Okay, that's even better. No NY session. That would have been, it's the 5th of July today where I am testing this. So 4th of July was yesterday. That's why it's so fresh that it's an Independence Day. All right, where was I at? Pair, da da da. Okay, do this quickly. Daily is bearish. 4 hour is bearish. Another retest. Stop loss. My area is not too great. 63 pips to start with. And if I reduce it, I will edit the sheet. And TP is 130 pips. And the entry was a retest of recent resistance. Perfect. Okay, accept. Boom. Let's continue. Let's continue. After trend structure. This is not bad. Are we going to break below this support? Kind of liking these retest entries, you know. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie. It's not bad. I need at least 100 trades before I can implement this into my live trading. to see if this is actually profitable. I can't go by this. And right now it's not super mechanical, as in I do have an idea, but when it comes to the take profits, I don't have set exit rules yet, rather than get out before news or, get out if the structure changes. So I need to put some solid rules in place. All right, how are we moving though? This is not bad. Right now I'm exiting when I get to 50 pips. But backtesting and real money is, you have completely different emotions. So I'd have to set like take profit maybe at 50 pips or certain risk reward or something like that. But I'd have to set it some pretty solid exit rules. Or just like a continuation pattern. Ooh, could this be the first loss? And it did close back up in the range. Price is bullish. Checking the daily. All right, if this closes bullish, I'm gonna get out of this trade, which it did. Oh, but it's still creating a lower high. Do you know what though? I'm gonna reduce my stop loss for one. So put it over the most recent, well, the lower swing low. So it's now 41 pips. 41 pips. You see how this plays out? Because we're still below this last lower high. Are we going to get a first loss here? I would add to the comments. If this does become a losing trade, I will add to the comments that, price, we closed outside of the range, pulled back into the range. So this could have been a fake out candle for the sells anyway. So that'll be that'll be definitely something to make note of. If there's a fake out, then don't take the retest. But look, price is still creating a lower high. So I'm still, still like the idea of this trade. It's not bad. I do want to get out before New York session because I know it's probably going to be closed or close early. So potentially ranging, less volume. But we've created a lower high with this resistance. And yeah, if this current candle here breaks this high, I'm just going to close the trade. It's going to close full. And boom. All right, close there. Let's pause that. So that was a loss for 30 pips. Let's do minus 30. And we're back down to 9.93%. Retest after downtrend structure. So the exit reason was price closed back in the range and started breaking highs. Basically got out because now we're if you look at the structure of the 30-minute, so I'm just going to move that back to the top. We've got a support, then we've got a higher low, and now we're creating another higher low, and the candles are trending up. Right, so press next. So I'm going to skip to Friday because this is all did it close early? It did close early, you see. Our price jumps I mean, not price, the date jumps down here from 6 o'clock to 10. Independence Day, baby. All right, let's go back to 6. Get rid of that. Delete. All right, back to the daily. Oh, continuation pattern. I'm already biased now. I'm already thinking buys. We've broken a daily high. Both daily highs here. Respect to the previous low. 4 hour. Broken above the previous 4 hours. We do have a resistance at 23.63. In fact, oof, non-farms payroll, NFP, and unemployment rate today. Maybe I'm not thinking buyers just yet. All right, 30-minute. Please tell me we have some structure to the left. Okay, so we have a resistance here, a resistance here, but this is, how far away is this? This is back in June. All right. For me, right now, I'm quite bullish. So I don't want to ignore these resistances, but I am going to be looking for a retest of support primarily to get into a trade. And hopefully I can get in and out of one before NFP. Obviously, we'll start with London. We've got a recent support here. So if I get a retest, then I'll be looking for the buyers back up. Oh, there's a chance. There's a chance price could just run like it did on Wednesday. Some water. So because I'm bullish and a 30-minute structure is bullish, I'm not looking for the sells at resistance just yet. I do want the pullback, but I want the retest of a support for the buyers. Speed this up a little bit. All right, this 7 o'clock candle's about to close. Come on, pull back. Give me that retest. Give me that retest. Candle struggling a little bit. But yeah, I'm getting off that bounce. How big is this range? Only 26, 30 pips. Not bad. Not bad. It's not going to come back down. All right, this candle's about to close. All right, new candle. Still more of a pullback, which is good. So I might wait just to see if we get a bounce. Because I don't want to take an entry as soon as the candle opens. So if it's not this support, then maybe the next one, 23.60, it's only 20 pips below. If this candle closes above, then I'm just going to take buys on the next candle. If it closes like close to this support. Oh, don't tap it and go up now. This is good. Stay down here. No. Oh, man, this is a shame. I need to make a note of these missed entries as well. Oh, this is good. This is good. Just don't break it. Even if it breaks it and then closes back above, I'm taking bias. As long as it closes above this support, I'm going to take the bias. Because I'm just looking for that retest of a support. Now, if it closes below, then I'm looking for a retest of this support. And I'm going to have a decent stop loss below the last higher low, and then just straight. Do I want to take straight buys here? Kind of annoyed I think getting a bit lower. You know, I'm just going to take the buys here, and I'm going to move my stop loss. I'm going to start my stop loss below this last support. I'm going to have the TP, so that 40 pips. Let's have the TP up here, 4-hour level. But if price gets to, so the CP is at a 4-hour resistance. If price gets to 2363, sorry, then I'm just gonna move my stop loss to break even. Move my stops to break even. And again, if we close below this support, I'm just gonna close the trade and then look for another re-entry down at 2360. Okay, while this is playing out, slow it down just a little. Let me put it in the journal. So 5th, 7th, 24. I should also mark down when there's news. So the daily is bullish. Four-hour is bullish. Entry retest, of course. And the stop loss. Oh, you gotta start remembering this. The stop loss is 40 pips. TP is 170. And comments, site M30 structure entry after support respected. All right. Okay, still running. This is nice. This is nice. So the entries, some of these entries haven't been exactly on the retest. I still have been waiting for the candles to close, but I think it's been important to do so. I think it's been a good idea to do so. And I did say once price gets up here, I'm going to move my stop loss to break even. Look, BE. Do it with the click of a button. All right. Let this thing run. Do I want to get out before NFP? Yeah, I do want to get out. I'm not going to hold it through NY session. I'm not going to do that because it's NFP. So I might get another retest for NFP, might get a pullback. But what I do know is I'm sure there's no clean candles. I mean, it's just clean candles to the left. Oh, where are we here? Why is that? That must be another level before. Oh yeah, it was a bit lower. Oh, we're respecting this resistance again. Interesting. No, go on, push. Might hit a break even here. I mean, we're breaking these previous wicks. All of the wicks to the left, really. But it seems to be a decent resistance, 23.63. Well, candle still closed bullish. So I'm just gonna let it run. This is good. Fill that wick. Here's my trades. Loud. 30 pips. I'm looking for a wick fill. If this current candle closes below this resistance, I'm just gonna close. Then, it might pull back from this level here. I will get out. We don't really need structure because we've had, look, got a resistance, a support, higher low, higher high. We broke that. Let's speed this up a little bit. Perfect. Go and break that high. It's lovely. Man, resistance levels might be pretty strong right here. Are we closing above? Are we? Yes. Good. Little pullback. As long as we don't break this low here, the trade is still good. Oh, and got another resistance. Come on, let's go. Closed bearish, but still above that previous resistance. If we start breaking previous lows, I'm going to just close the trade. But so far, candles are still respecting the previous lows. I don't know about this one. It's coming down quite a bit. Yep. All right, I'm going to close here. Close last. I'm going to put it in now. So that's 17 pips. And that's 10.8% we're up now. All right, exit reason. Candles started breaking lows. All right, close. Oof. That was a good shout. That was a good shout. Let's go to NY. Wait, sessions. All right, let's adjust. Support. Now, this structure right here is not very nice because we've got, wait, all right, so we've got a high, we've got highs, higher highs, and then we've also got higher lows and then a lower low. and our lower high here. So we're ranging right now. And price does like to range. Gold, not even price. Gold does like to range before NFP, so I'm not even surprised. Look, we tap this support again. What time is the NFP on this? Should be at 12:30. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip past that. It's NFP. Cheese. Wow. We tap into a previous level down here. Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't. There's no trades here. Not for the retest anyway, I don't think. Nah. So that's the first week in July done. So I'm gonna do a quick, I'll try to do a quick recap of these trades. Quick recap of these trades. So this is Monday. All right, so Monday, the first trade, price was on a downtrend. We had the most recent resistance. I didn't use the first one. I used the highest point where I think if price was going to break above, it would completely break the structure. If it's going to close above, it would break above the last lower high and then potentially continue back up. So that's why I chose this as a resistance to take a sell from. Closed, had a minor support here as well. Had a minor support to the left and obviously a support just a little bit lower, which was actual TP, but decided to close at a decent amount of profits. Because we were pushing down, but there was price was also pushing up quite a bit as well. So closed there. The second trade was we had the push up, and this is during NY session. After the higher lows, pushed up, broke this previous resistance to the left, but then closed back below. Came back down, took a buy at the first support, because price pushed down, closed right on this support. It did come down a little bit and then pushed up again, closed where I felt it makes sense. It was in decent profits and it was before news as well. So I think that's definitely going to be one of the things I add to the rules. Get out before any news or at a decent amount of profits because I'm not a swing trader. I'm not holding positions all day. So getting out and then starting again is a good idea always. The next trade on what day is this? The second. So it's the Tuesday. Now, we did have a support. This first support potentially could have been a good idea to get in. It still would have worked out anyway, but the way price was driving down, I think what I'm going to start doing is waiting, see how the candles act as it approaches the support. Then if I get a closure above, just getting on the next candle like I had been doing the following days. Had a support slightly lower, which had more retests. So one, two, it was just the next support that was just a little bit stronger than this one bounce. Closed above, perfect. Just got in when the next candle started pushing up and closed right above as price was pushing up, closed here. Also, the TP was at this resistance, but price was making lower highs. So we've got a high here, lower high. I was anticipating that we could get a lower high anywhere in between there as well. Now the next buy was a buy from a support that again had quite a few retests. So it was 23.20, 23.19. As you can see, where are we? Around here. No, we had multiple pushes up from this level, multiple pushes up, going all the way across. Price came down, held, got into a buy when price pushed up. Again, very nice. Got out before news. Could have held all the way to TP, which I believe was up here. but closed right after the candle closed, got out before news, decent amount of profits. No trades on Wednesday. Wednesday was just straight buys. That would have been the old strategy, closure above and keep pushing. This was a loss on the Thursday. So to be honest, price was bullish. Gold was bullish on the Thursday. So buying up from a support would have made more sense. It would have made more sense, but the current structure of the 30-minute was on a downtrend. Look, we got the high, lower high, and it was a tight downtrend. It retested this resistance, closed below, got into a sell. Price did come into a bit of profit, pushed down right into the support, and then pushed back up. So I got out, did reduce the stop loss, got out when price started breaking previous highs. And then lastly was the buys on the Friday, where again we had a tight range. Price came down, retested this support, closed above, took a buy on the next candle, pushed up, got to look nearly 50 pips, where I think if it did get to 50 pips, which is what I've been doing for most of this, I would have got out. There were quite a few resistances above, and price started to pull back. So I got out when we started to break the previous 30-minute low. I think it was only, what, 17 pips, but still some profit. And then obviously NFP shot up and there was no trades there. So not a bad week for the retests. I'm going to go into the next week, probably next week, and yeah, get into see how this strategy continues, really. But I think looking at it, it does mix in well with the closure below, closure above, because where I didn't get a retest, I would have taken a closure above on Wednesday, which is my normal strategy. And then that again would have been profitable. So not bad, not bad, but I'm still going to collect some more data and record it and see how it goes. All right, until next time. Oh, wait, sorry, let me show you the, wait, let me show you the statistics. So the statistics are not bad. Ended the week with 10%, 10.8%, just based on this strategy. One loss, no break evens. Absolute drawdown looks 1.52. Not bad. Looks $16 worth of drawdown. Gross profit 122. And then obviously the little bit of the loss, 14. So the loss was quite small, which is always the best. Largest profit trade, $33. So that's about what? Just above, how was it, 60 pips? And about 60, 66 pips, I think was the biggest one. So not bad. I think the risk management definitely helped reducing the stop losses. But again, I'll continue this for the rest of July and see how the strategy plays out. Right now, until then, I'll see you next time.